Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. So we've got some good news for some bad news for others. And today what we're really going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about Bronco hard tops. Now there's going to be some major delays. So anyone for a hard top, there's going to be some bad news shared today. So if you're a hard top holder for your Bronco, you're going to want to, get yourself a glass of strong iced tea. That's not iced tea because I need a drink for this one, and you probably will too. So we're going to be covering the whole hardtop issue. Ford has finally come out with the official news. Now we've been hearing for months, I've been talking about it for months, that the hardtop is an issue. Since May, I've been talking about switching to the soft top, which I did, which got me a build date. Of course, I would have loved a hardtop, but it looks like really everything has hit the fan. Now some people are calling this the hardtop solution. Well, I guess if you consider at some point giving up and starting all over, I guess in a way that's a solution, but it does involve giving up. So we're gonna get the pedal to the metal and straight into this news. We're gonna be covering why you can't get your hardtop Bronco and then just have another top shipped out. And I experienced this with the Big Ben that arrived at my dealership, at my local dealership. The windows weren't glued in, so there's issues with shipping out these bad tops. I'm going to be covering everything that's wrong with the hard tops. I'm also going to be covering when Ford will be getting the correct well-built hard tops, because they're retooling the factory. Ford's paying for this. They're going to retool the Webasto factory to essentially just make sure that the top is thicker, that it actually rounds around the corners so you don't have exposed interior, that foam, that kind of plastic foam material that's in the middle. And they're also going to make sure that that plastic foam material is evenly covered everywhere, so you don't get that snake skin appearance that we've been seeing. So let's just put the pedal to the metal, cover who gets what when, cover what's wrong, what's the issue, and what's the solution to the molded in color Bronco top delay. Okay, so what are you going to get for waiting for your Bronco? Well, you're going to get actual proper solutions. Ford, when they retool that Webasto factory, it's going to ensure that you're going to get, properly rolled, finished edges instead of edges that, have access to that foam so that the weather can get right in there and probably eventually expand. If ice gets in there, probably would crack the outer and inside plastic. Instead of, that raw cut foam, accessible foam that was showing, you're going to get a thicker, more uniform outer layer of material. So the outer plastic will be thicker, which will help hide that whole, snakeskin look. But part of that snakeskin look was probably also due to the injection process of that interior foam, or what we could call a clamshell. Well, the inside and outside plastic, there's foam in the middle, and they're going to be doing a different injection process so you don't get that snake skin look. So those are your solutions. That's your, reward for not getting one of these early Broncos. But what if you have one of these early Broncos? Well, the Big Ben that arrived at my dealership didn't actually have the windows glued in. There was tape holding it together. So in transport, this is part of the reason why Ford just doesn't want to ship you out a bad top and get you your Bronco sooner, because probably a good number of them would end up with broken windows. And we can see part of their solution process is that when they do ship out proper tops to these people, who are going to be the first people served. So who's served first? People who already have a Bronco and have a bad top. They're going to be getting served first, and their top is going to arrive at the dealership without the windows, and it looks like the dealership will glue in those windows, or probably outsource it to a specialist, as my local dealership did. So Ford, down on the record, is committed to building new molded in color hardtops for all the units that have already been delivered. So that's priority one. Priority two, and this helps you know when you're going to get your Bronco. Well, then they're going to do the bad batch of Broncos trapped at the Michigan Assembly Plant. There's about 2,200 of them. So I know someone who has their wild track trapped at the map factory or the map parking lot, the forest that's out there. That's, anyways, bad sand desert with Broncos everywhere. I'm sure you've you guys and gals have seen the photos, but you know, I've been telling him for about 2 months that probably he has a bad top, and the bad news is with Webasto making so few tops, it'd probably be a while before he actually gets a good top. But you know what? Now it looks like they're going to be number 2 on the list for being served. Then finally, there's going to be the production of new units. So that's priority 3. And the new units, of course, are going to be the first edition, because it's now been over a month. I think it's been about 2 months that Ford has been promising that all first editions will be built in 2021. Now, here's some bad news for people. I think there's 7,000 first editions that in total get built. They haven't sent out more than 1,000. So if there's 5,000 or 6,000 left to be built, and even if the math is actually 3,000 and I'm mistaken on this, either way, if Webasto, once they get the factory retooled, and we're talking about, let's say, mid-October when they're pumping them out, calculate that they're going to be pumping out between 100 to 200 tops per day. So that kind of lets you know that if you're not a first edition, you're probably not getting your Bronco as a 2021. It's going to be converted into a 2022, and it will be price protected. Now, I'm sorry, I'm a little hot in here, but I need to get this news out. I got to get it off my heart, off the chest. But this room is about 38 degrees with the Humidex. So sorry for that. I hope you can get past it and continue to watch this video, because I've got a lot more good info coming your way. Okay, so now that we've covered what's wrong with the top, we also briefly covered why they can't ship you a bad top. You know, likely a good part of the time, they ship you a Bronco with a bad top, it's going to arrive with broken glass, and then they're going to be reshipping glass. It's not really going to speed things up. I think they saw this as Ford saw this as a no-win situation, and they said, you know what, we have to give up to get this right. So good on them for admitting when there's just no hope left. The only hope is that they get and they're paying for the retooling of the Webasto factory. Ford's paying for the retooling. They've told us that they're going to have this running by October, and I say this is actually quite surprising that this news came out this quickly, because I'm sure there's some, you know, medium level execs at Ford that were kind of wondering today how this info got out this morning when it was, you know, on their agenda for their afternoon meeting, or likely it was on their agenda for the afternoon meeting. So, you know, Bronco 6G, incredible job getting information out before it's, you know, even official. They got that out this morning at 5 a.m. So good on them. If you're not following the Bronco6G.com website, fantastic discussions going on there. They're always the sharpest and fastest on the news. So you want to jump on that. And from what I can tell, well, they're not a marketing team for Ford, so that's really great too. But you know, let's get back to business. Let's talk about where you're at, depending where your Bronco's at. You know, have you already taken delivery? What's the result? What's the conclusion? You know, do you have a build date? Do you not have a build date? Are you a two-door? So let's go through that slowly, one by one. First of all, if you already have your Bronco delivered to you or it's in transit, you've got nothing to do. You know, you're going to get your Bronco, you're going to drive around with a bad top, and you know what? Come October, when they start making those new tops, you're going to be the first to get your new top. So congratulations to you guys. You're going to get to drive around. Now, if you want to be one of these people driving around, you can also still switch your Bronco to a soft top, unless you have a two-door, unless you have a Wild Track, because they're all hardtop, or if you have a first edition, because they're also all hardtop. But if you have a four-door and you're not one of those models, great news, you can still switch to a soft top as long as you don't already have a build date. If you have a build date and a serial number, there's nothing you can do. You can't change your order, you can't modify anything. So what about if your build date has passed? Well, if your build date has passed, bad news, you're one of the 2,200 or so, you know, part of the bad batch out by that sand mountain. So you should get a special sticker when you get your Bronco and have an extremely special edition and have a bad batch Bronco. But, you know, if that's already passed, then you know what? There's nothing you're going to be doing either. You're going to be waiting for October when that Webasto factory is retooled and they put on a top on your Bronco as priority number 2. Now, priority number 3, the last priority. What about if your Bronco was already given a production day or VIN number. Now, I also know someone who's in this situation, and this is kind of bad news. So unless you're a first editions are promised to all get built this year. So you're going to get it. But if you're any other model, some 2-doors are going to be built. But let's say you're an Outer Banks 4-door hardtop. Well, you're nowhere near that priority list, and you're going to get pushed into a 2022. Good news. You get a 2022 Bronco instead of having a very late arrival 2021. So it's not all bad, and it's not all that good, because it means you're going to be waiting probably another, probably another 4, well, actually no, it'll probably be built in December or January and probably delivered in February or March. So if you have, let's say, a Big Bend 4-door hardtop, an Outer Banks 4-door hardtop, a Black Diamond 4-door hardtop, you're probably getting your vehicle in January or February. And that's, of course, if you've reserved and you've been waiting on your Bronco for a while now. Now, if you happen to buy a Bronco now, you might be surprised how quickly you get your Bronco, because it's not as if they're going to stop the factory altogether. What they're going to be doing is they're going to be pushing out a whole lot of soft tops, but they have scaled down production, and they're going to be building more Rangers, but they're still building Broncos, and they have to build buildable Broncos. So if you avoid, a wild track, if you avoid a 2-door, essentially order up a 4-door soft top, Big Bend, base, Outer Banks, Badlands, in with a 2.3 liter, without the safari bar and without the hitch, and you might be surprised, you could actually get your Bronco pretty darn quick. So I know the order holder FAQ, frequently asked questions sheet, that was leaked early. I know it did talk about how if you already have a scheduled 2-door first edition and wild track Bronco, that you can expect that they'll continue to be built throughout the 2021 model year. But we got to look at the math and figure out that, first editions, if they're building 100 to 200 Bronco hardtops a day as of, let's say, the 7th of October. And I think that's pretty helpful. It's going to take them till the end of the production year to get those first editions done. Maybe they'll slide in a few 2-doors, but if you got a wild track, you have a 2-door, basically if you don't have a first edition, I'd say write it on your calendar. You're getting this bad boy come 2022. And that's why we have one of these prepared, because I'm drinking for our lost. You're not getting out in the wild, and I feel pretty bad about that. I've been covering this for so long, and I feel for the people that have been waiting a really long time for their Bronco. Already my wait has been pretty long, and I know how it's frustrating. So it's kind of hard actually to be sharing this news, and I'm really sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but at least there is some positivity to all this. If you're already out on the road, you're going to be getting your hard top switched. There is still, for many, the option to switch to a soft top. But this is too bad. I just wish 2-door people could be able to switch to a soft top and get a hard top later. But hey, that's kind of a tough solution, because if you go with a hard top from Ford, it's going to be available in 2023, and that's black and white on that frequently asked question sheet that got leaked, and that's kind of rough. 2023 is a really long time. That means 2 winters without a hard top. For anyone living in some pretty snowy weather, I'll let you know how the soft top holds up. I think it's going to hold up pretty decently. I don't plan on trying to look out that back window, but I've got my side mirrors, and let's hope I make it through the winter without an accident, because I'd love to at some point be able to flip this and try to get that green Bronco that was originally really my ideal build, but they didn't offer green for 2021, and I want a Bronco right now, So moving right along, what else can we do? Well, another option is to go with the soft top and go to the aftermarket for a hard top. I'm sure by next summer, we're gonna have aftermarket companies offering some really cool hard top options. And if not, I really don't believe the soft top's gonna be all that bad. I have faith in it. You can definitely avoid what we mentioned earlier, such as Lux package, trailer tow, safari bar, wild track, and the 2.7 liter engine. Mind you, my Badlands is a 2.7 liter, and I'm a early February reservation and order, and I got built. And actually, part of the news I want to share today is the soft top truly does work as a solution, because I got pushed to, I had August 27th as a build date, and I kind of feel bad about this, but I am happy, of course, about getting my Bronco sooner, but I've moved up to the 23rd, so I've jumped ahead of about 1,600 production numbers at factory, and I wouldn't be surprised if I end up even being pushed up another 3 or 4 days, because I think the system is just kind of settling everything in and filtering out what they won't be able to do. So I think next Thursday I might have news for you. Of course, I'll keep you updated. You know, you can change your place in line, and if you do modify your build, you're not losing your place in line. You'll either get pushed further back if you pick something, you know, let's say you go with all of, you know, the Santa's naughty list, and you know, you pick your Wild Track trim, your Sasquatch package, you switch to a 2.7 liter, you throw on the Lux package, the trailer tow and the safari bar. Well, Santa's not going to like you, and you're not going to get your Bronco by Christmas. And that's really unfortunate, and that's why, you know I'm repeating myself on that point, but I think it's pretty important that I make sure, you know, we're all on board and we know what's going on, so you don't lose your place in line. You'll either get pushed back, or if you pick more desirable, more available equipment, you're gonna jump ahead in line. That I can promise you. I tested it on mine, I took the risk, and I jumped way ahead. I jumped ahead of a bunch of other orders I've obviously at my dealer, but also my reservation timestamp wasn't that good, meaning I jumped over what must have been tens of thousands of reservation timestamps. And you know, it's unfortunate, but you know, that could happen, but that's just how it works. The most unfortunate thing is probably for regulatory reasons, we can't have from factory a darn soft top on the 2-door, which was my original build. So, you know, if you're hating me right now because I jumped ahead, well, realize that I did give up a lot. My dream Bronco is a green 2-door Bronco Badlands with, you know, ideally a white painted top like we originally saw in the photos, but I wanted green. So what can you do? Well, we can deal with what we've got in our hands, make the best of a bad situation, and, you know, wish us, you know, within the community, I'll try to help each other out, hope that we all get to have more cars and more power, and that we get to put the pedal to the metal and have a little bit of fun. I drove by a Hyundai dealership today, and I can tell you, I put the pedal to the metal, and then I did some rev matching on my downshifting, and it felt pretty good, because that's, you know, what a real motor should sound like, kind of what was going through my head at the moment. So I'm gonna sign out off. Wish you all, you know, the best possible week, and once again, sorry for bringing this bad news, but in the comment section, I'd love to hear if this final, you know, good news, bad news is going to get you to switch your order, if you think it's worth it, what you think about this whole situation. How are you feeling? And what are you going to do with your Bronco? I really do hope that you do keep your Bronco on order. I really think it's still worth the wait. I've been saying this, I think, since January or February, that it's worth the wait. I've had an Outer Banks in my hands briefly for an hour. I really got to do a nice walk around of a Big Bend, and even a Big Bend, I was blown away. So, you know, I think it's worth it. I hope you all get your Broncos, and I hope we get to see each other on the trails. Take care.